He conquered half the known world, but few remember the women who held it together. Before the legend of Genghis Khan became an empire, it was a family. And within that family were daughters who ruled kingdoms, commanded armies, and quietly shaped history while the men rode to war. Born from the harsh steppes of Mongolia, Genghis Khan understood power better than anyone alive. He believed conquest wasn't only won by the sword, it was maintained through loyalty, blood, and strategy. So he turned one of humanity's oldest traditions, marriage, into a weapon of empire. He married his daughters to kings, chieftains, and rulers of rival tribes, but not as gifts. Each marriage was a mission, a calculated move on the chessboard of the world. Once the wedding feast ended, Genghis Khan would send his new sons-in-law away to distant wars. Most never came back, and when they fell, his daughters were left behind, not as widows, but as rulers. Women who governed in his name, managing territories, armies, and trade routes that stitched the empire together. One of his daughters, Alakai Beki, ruled the Ongud people in what is now northern China. She maintained peace through diplomacy, collecting taxes, organizing defenses, and ensuring the Mongol southern borders stayed secure. Another, Al-Altan, was married off to a powerful ruler in the western steppes, the lands we now know as Kazakhstan. Through that union, the Mongols gained control over vital Silk Road routes connecting China to Persia. Those same territories would later become part of the Golden Horde, a realm of unimaginable wealth and power. Historians say her reign kept the western roads safe for trade, a feat that financed Mongol expansion into the Middle East and Europe. Other daughters, like Shishayagin and Tumalun, managed lands closer to the Mongol heartland, guarding the Silk Road, maintaining communication lines, and keeping the empire's wealth flowing eastward. Together, they formed a hidden network of rulers, what some historians now call the Empire of the Daughters. While Genghis Khan and his sons carved their names into history through battle, it was his daughters who kept those conquests from crumbling. They handled diplomacy, stabilized trade, and governed territories stretching from the edge of the Great Wall to the Caspian Sea. These women didn't merely inherit power, they wielded it. Mongol society, though brutal and patriarchal, was surprisingly practical. Its nomadic roots meant women already had authority over herds, households, and logistics. When the empire expanded, those same skills scaled upward, into leadership. And behind Genghis Khan stood his greatest teacher, his mother, Holin, who once led their tribe through exile and starvation. She taught him survival, loyalty, and the strength of women. That legacy flowed through every daughter he raised. But the world beyond Mongolia didn't share that view. When one tribal king insulted the Khan by refusing to marry his son to one of Genghis's daughters, saying, "No man of my blood will bow to a woman," the Khan's fury was absolute. He wiped out the entire bloodline, burned their capital to ash, and left a message for the world. Never underestimate the daughters of the great Khan. From that day forward, no ruler dared reject a Mongol bride. Every alliance, every wedding, meant another kingdom absorbed, another throne ruled by a daughter loyal to the empire. It was conquest without war, domination through dynasty. By the end of Genghis Khan's life, his daughters ruled more land than any of his sons. They oversaw the richest trade lines on earth, the arteries of the Silk Road, where caravans carried silk, spices, gold, and ideas across continents. Their governance brought stability, wealth, and cultural exchange between East and West. They were the queens of the Silk Route, and their rule funded the campaigns that carried Mongol banners as far as Baghdad and the Black Sea. But after Genghis Khan's death in 1227, his sons and grandsons began fighting over the spoils. Civil wars broke out, and male successors rewrote history to glorify their conquests. Women's names were erased from records, their reigns forgotten, their stories buried beneath the dust of empire. Only scattered chronicles, in Persian, Chinese, and Mongol sources, still whisper of their rule. Yet centuries later, historians piece together the truth. Behind the greatest conqueror in history stood a line of women who ruled kingdoms, kept armies loyal, and made sure his empire didn't collapse under its own weight. Without them, the Mongol Empire might have been just another brief storm on the steppe, powerful but short-lived. Instead, it became a world-shaping force that bridged East and West for generations. Their names may have faded from monuments, but their legacy remains in every route, city, and nation once tied to the Silk Road. From northern China to modern-day Kazakhstan, traces of their governance can still be seen, a silent testimony to the power of forgotten queens. History remembers Genghis Khan as a man who conquered with the sword. But the truth is far deeper. He built an empire, and his daughters ruled it.